Our World Psoriasis Day 2020 is set to launch on October 29. The theme for this year is Informed. The International Federation of Psoriasis Association and its members in 56 countries are organizing activities and advocacy campaigns to promote awareness, empowerment and action. Psoriasis affects approximately 3% of the population in South Africa. It's characterized by thick red patches of skin covered with white or silvery scales. The skin lesions can cause significant discomfort, including itching, burning, bleeding and pain from irritation. Now, joining us to explain the campaign towards Psoriasis Month is dermatologist Dr. Lushen Pillay. Dr. Pillay, thank you so much for your time. Now, what is unique about psoriasis? Because we know that one of the biggest misconceptions is that psoriasis is a skin condition, but it's actually an autoimmune disorder. Please, can you define this condition for us?
Hi, good afternoon, Unathi, and thank you for inviting me. It's important to understand a bit of the basics about the condition. So just to put it in a nutshell, it's an inherited autoimmune condition with environmental type of factors that can exacerbate it. So if you put it into simple terms, it's an inherited condition that's simple to understand. If one parent has it, you've got about a 14% of the kids them getting the condition. If two parents have the condition, it goes up to over 50%. It's an autoimmune illness, so which means it takes about 1 month for a skin cell to turn over. In this condition, in 2 to 3 days, the same thing actually happens. Environmental factors that can make the condition worse: stress, smoking, alcohol, and red meat to a certain extent. We know there's a strong link with stress and alcohol. And the reason why we're having all of these talks is to create awareness and just for patients and people to understand that psoriasis is not just a skin condition. There's an increased risk of hypertension, diabetes, heart attack, strokes, anxiety type of disorders. And you can understand if, for instance, a child has these red scaly lesions which are falling on the floor and bleeding, which they often do, it's understandable that other children won't want to keep with them. So it has an effect on anxiety disorders as well. So we want patients to understand it can be treated, it can't be cured unfortunately, but by treating the condition, it decreases those other risk factors like the high blood pressure and diabetes, etc.
Now, in preparing for this interview, I was met with so many misconceptions about psoriasis, including what we've mentioned before, that it's just a skin condition. But another one that's of interest is that it's contagious, but you're saying that it's actually hereditary. Please, can you unpack that for us? Is it contagious?
It's absolutely not contagious at all. And the one thing you'll see, or the one thing I do in my practice as well, I often go and feel these lesions and touch these lesions, so patients feel very comfortable in knowing that it's not contagious. It's not going to be passed on to others. So we want the awareness to go out, especially to young kids, but to adults as well, that it's not contagious at all. It is passed on in families and it can be treated.
Now, earlier on, I mentioned that it actually affects 3% of South Africans. Now, who does psoriasis mainly affect, and what are the main reasons behind this? 3% may seem like a small number to a lot of people, but it's actually a big number for an autoimmune skin or disease or condition.
It is. It's quite a big number, actually. To be honest, the stats in South Africa, they haven't been formalized, and we think it's slightly higher. Because it's an inherited condition, but it affects everyone. It can affect any race group, it can affect any age. We see a peak in young kids who often start off as an upper respiratory tract infection, and then they develop the skin conditions. And we see it as we get older, especially when stress becomes an issue. So in your 30s and 40s, when there's work stress, when there's family stress, we often see that as a trigger for starting it.
Now, another misconception that is around is that medication can treat psoriasis alone. And you've mentioned a number of issues, including stress. Now, COVID-19 has presented many people with stress-related challenges. Has there been an increase of cases during this COVID-19 time of people with psoriasis? And if if medication alone can't treat it, how then, during this pandemic, can we treat stress?
So Unathi, as you know, throughout the world, we've been having these online conferences this year. We've seen an increase in all stress-related type of disorders, and especially in psoriasis, the incidence has more than doubled. And there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of stress around because of COVID. But yes, it can be treated. There are topical treatments, there are oral treatments, there's newer treatments called the biologics, and we're going to hear more and more about these biologics. They're just an amazing type of treatment for this condition and for other autoimmune illnesses. For the first time, we can get a clearance of skin, where 100% clearance of skin with these medications. You know, we see people who are walking around with scales and skin lesions throughout their body get 100% clearance, and it's changed their lives. So there is hope, there is treatment, and more these treatments are coming down in price and becoming more affordable to everyone. We hope that our medical aids, our medical insurance, we hope that our state hospitals are going to offer more of these treatments, but they are amazing. They change the whole landscape of skin diseases, but not only skin diseases. Other autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, we're seeing patients go on with their normal life and get a clearance of their condition.
Dr. Pillay, thank you so much. That's all we have time for this afternoon. Dr. Lushen Pillay, dermatologist, speaking to us there about Psoriasis Month. All right.